Damn, Nick done already fucked your shit up.
Hey, man.
He got money though. He working tech. Yeah, he straight. Yeah. He got a beanie on. It's 90 degrees outside. That's how you know. He getting to the money. It's hella possible. I stopped doing graphic design because I hated it. And I just went to music. Yeah. And so, like, if I could do it with something I hate, bro, like, and if you love videography, bro, like, that is what's needed right now. I'm training bro to be videographer right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm learning the editing skill. Like, the ability to storytell is what makes every business. And if you capture that, and you a videographer, and if he say you good as fuck. So, like, run it up, bro. You got it.
A little bit.
You gotta turn that off.
Yeah, turn it off because we
Dang,
might
I just told you my shoe messed up. You done look what you did to my shoe,
Hey man,
bro.
hey man. Hey, run it back. Hey, cut that out.
Cause it's gonna mess up your content ID, boy.
Hey man, that's all right. It's
I'm
worth
gonna
it.
take out the shades eventually.
All right, hey, you can keep them on as long as you want, bro.
Yeah.
All right, well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to season 2, the first episode of the Create Yourself podcast. And today we have somebody very, very special, very talented, and just he's amazing at what he does. We got our man, All Names Taken.
What's up with it?
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming through.
Hey man, thank you for having me, bro.
Of course, bro. We've known each other for some time, and we haven't like really connected or talked much except for like just over social media and stuff.
Nah, for real. And outside of, how we do know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Think about.
Dude, I have a question. This is the first question I wanted to ask you.
Oh, he jumping right in.
Where does the name All Names Taken come from?
Man, that's a great question. So it's 2 different sides. It's about 7 different sides to it, but I'm gonna give you a couple of them.
Yeah.
So I used to go by Alex the Great.
Okay.
That was my stage name. We was doing a lot, whether it was opening for legends like Bun B, selling out, making a newspaper, performing in Philly, performing in L.A., all type of stuff. Music moving, music doing, numbers, selling out places here in Dallas, and all that work. And when you go to search Alex the Great, you get Alexander the Great, number 1, and then other people start having the name Alex the Great because Alex is a common name. And the content ID, fighting with Apple Music, fighting with Spotify, I was like, man, forget that. So we had to go back to the drawing board, figure out a name. So the name coming from a few places. I really felt like all names was taken when I was looking for a name.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it kind of encompanies, like, I'm still Alex the Great. I go by a lot of different names. And then it's also, I'm here to take all your fans. All names taken. And then it's also, I'm multifaceted. I'm a music producer. I'm a designer. I own a company called Wake and Create. I am a musician. I am an artist. I am a businessman. I love science. I love anime. I love to create. So all of these are a part of me. So it's all names taken. So like when I don't take no. If somebody call me Alex the Great, I'm still Alex the Great. Somebody just call me Alex, I'm still Alex. Somebody call me Taken, I'm Taken. You know what I mean? So like we taking over. It's so many different things and facets to that name, but I really fell in love with it. Just over time, man. So yeah,
it's a beautiful name, and you've created a beautiful brand around it.
Appreciate that.
You can use that and spin it in any other way, and you see that through how you represent yourself, and it's a really awesome thing.
Yeah, man.
I wanted to talk to you about Wake and Create, because you've mentioned it, and I've seen it on your socials. But can you kind of like just elaborate where that came from and how you created that?
Man, that's a great question. For me personally, when I created Wake and Create, it was kind of 2 different things. I've always been a creative. I've always been. My pops is a poet. I get that from him. My mom's is a singer. My mom was also a graphic designer, photographer, all of those things. So I pick up a lot just from my blood. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever that may be. So for me, back in the day when people was like, hey man, I wake and bake, I'm like, bro, I really wake and create every day. Like I get up, I create. And, I'm a big believer in God, personally. And when I read the stories in the Bible and you open the Bible up and the first thing I see is God created. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm made in His image, so I create. That's my God-like ability, bro. So like my company is also about giving opportunity. I felt like people of color, and I'm a black man. I felt like we always brought the food to the table, but ate the crumbs that fell from it, whatever that may be. So it's about, creating that table and then telling my people to pull up a chair so we can all eat. We all hunt, we all eat, and we bringing it, and we going to eat off our creativity from this point forward. That's how I felt about it. So, I started building up a team and with people who are willing to learn, who are creative, and may not know nothing about what they're doing, but they're going to work. They're going to work hard. And, that's me. They can't see him on camera, but I got my boy Jordan over here. Shout out Jordan. Shout out Black.
Shout out Jordan.
Yeah, man. And that's what I can create, man. So, we're a production company. We put on events. We're a label. We put out music. We also work with people, whether it's consulting or helping them put out their events or getting their ideas out. We do that. And I always felt like business was creativity. You're creating something, whatever that may be. And all of us had that creative niche in us, what I'm saying? Since you were a kid, man, there was no box when you was a kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you was a sculptor when you was on that Play-Doh. You was a barber when you was messing in somebody's head. You was a chef. You was a painter. You was a it didn't matter. All while still doing academics and all that. You was all of those things.
Did you ever feel like you had to just pick one thing, or because you've been exposed to, like you said, your mom does a ton of things, and you've been around a lot of people who have done multiple things, not just music, not just graphic design, not just business. Like, did you ever feel like you had to do only one thing, or do you feel like how did that work for you?
Never. I think that what I did have to do for myself is tame myself to focus on one thing at a time, because I want to do everything. Like when I was a kid, I was like, bro, I'm gonna create the cure for cancer and I'm gonna work for Pixar. Those was my two things when I was a kid. I'm talking like 5. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I've always loved science. I've always loved math. I love music. I love creativity. Like, I feel like all of those things go hand in hand for me. You know what I mean? So, I never felt like I had to be one thing. I was like, I'm going to be the youngest president. Like, all of those things, which, you get older and you may say, that probably ain't what I want to do. But that don't mean that it stops. That I'm still all of these things, all names taken. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it goes into all of those areas.
So you said that you just had to learn how to balance it, and how to put your focus into one thing at a time in order to build it, with focus, right? Because I think that's, if you want to do a lot of things, but you're putting little efforts in everything, it's really hard to make steps forward.
Yeah.
So how did you learn that? How did you learn you had to focus?
I'm still learning that. I'm still learning that. It's kind of hard, and that's not because it's my superpower to be able to do all of those. I have an unfair advantage. If I have an idea in my head, I can get it out.
Yep.
Everybody can't do that. Like, I was able to learn, like, how to, if I want to put on a show, how do I do it? So I had to learn how to do the graphic design. I had to learn how to do my merch. I had to learn how to run the venue.
Right.
But then before that, I had to learn how to record myself, how to, mix the record or produce the record and do it. Like, I can get it from start to finish. I can get it out.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, and everybody... That's an unfair advantage. And I used to want everybody to be me. I'm like, hey, bro, you can do this.
Right.
But everybody can't. And that's something that I had to learn. I think that was the hardest thing. Because I look at somebody, I'm like, bro, you can do this.
Yeah.
But it may be that they can't do it my way. They can do this. They have these skills. They have these sets. So they have to play to their skill set. But I just feel like I have an unfair advantage because I can get the product from start to finish. Yes, I collaborate. I do other things. But if the world ended and I needed to do it, I can do it. So, for me, it's certain times where, I started off a musician and songwriter. And then, I developed into a music artist. And for the first however many years of being a music artist, after I was able to collaborate with different people, I stopped being a producer for a while just to focus on my songwriting, focus on my delivery, focus on how to engage a crowd the way I want to, focusing on that. And then, I opened up, okay, now we learn this, we got this craft. Let's go back to producing. Let's go back to this. Let's go back to musicianship. Let's work on our singing voice. Let's get voice lessons. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine. So, like, I'm always developing. I don't think that ever stops for me. And so we here now.
That's a lot of self-awareness to be able to say, like, okay, I want to do this, but that means that I have to put X, Y, and Z on the side in order for me to actually get somewhere with this.
Yeah.
And being able to kind of put that there and say, all right, I love this stuff, because I'm sure that you didn't like lose love for these things, but you were like, I want this right now. So what do I need to do to get there? And that's creativity, that's problem solving, is being able to say, here's what I want.
Yeah.
What do I need to do to get there?
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who do you feel like, is one of your biggest inspirations?
One? Dang, that's hard.
Or you can name multiple.
Number one, God, because he the ultimate creative. So like, yeah, shout out God for making me in his image. Like, got to start there.
Yes, sir.
But I mean, it come from everywhere, man. I grab inspiration literally from everywhere, bro. Like, my own family is full of musicians and singers, and they fire. My pops is the best poet I ever heard.
Does he have stuff out?
He does. He has a book. It's fire. It took
Really?
him years to put this book out.
gonna
I
need
heard
that
my first poem from my pops when I was like 7. He thought I was asleep. He was talking to somebody on the phone, and he calls me Pup. All names taken. So, like, he calls me Pup. And in this story that he built up, he was having a conversation with God, and the devil was on the other line, and he was talking to God, and he was like, basically he was saying, the devil got me. I don't want him to get my son too. And at 7, I was like, yo,
wow,
this is crazy.
Yeah.
And he's having a conversation, and he like, I told God, hold up, the devil's on the other line, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's having these.
Yeah.
And at 7, I'm like, dog, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I didn't tell him till I was way older. I'm talking about way older, that moment, right? I'm talking about I'm a grown man. I told him that moment, and that was one of the first poems that he put in the book because he remembered
Wow.
it. Yeah, and
That's
it was
beautiful.
crazy.
That's
So my inspirations come from there, whether you talk about my close circle, whether it was, the hustlers who was doing illegal stuff, the hustlers I got cousins who had full blown businesses. I had Goku as a child who told me,
Yes, sir.
where there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just really depends where you come from, So I was raised, from a lot of different perspectives with a lot of people. Then you got the famous ones, the Jamie Foxx,
Right.
Kanye West, Master P, Jay-Z, Ryan Leslie, for sure. Those people who kind of molded, like, bro, you can really do anything. You know what I mean? Like those. To even the more recent ones, the Kendrick Lamars, the Drakes, the J. Cole's,
Right.
even the La Russells, even more recent.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
Like, it's a lot of different, and they all have different reasons why. Like, all of them isn't, you'll hear it and you say, oh, that's the music, but it's not always the music,
Right.
like, even with, like, Nipsey Hussle and Rick Ross, and that's that side of it. But I'm inspired by a lot, the Quentin Tarantino's, and his ability to storytell through film is, even with all the violence, it's just
Right.
crazy, right? Like, I went back and watched Kill Bill, and I was like, bro, this is an anime film.
Right.
Right? I'm sitting there looking at it
Right.
like, bro, this is live action anime. Like, it's wild. But the way that story is pieced together, you talk about Quincy Jones and his ability to get the best out of people, not just in music, because I think
Right.
a lot of people get that with Michael Jackson, but I'm like, the 90s is built off Quincy Jones, Oprah, Will Smith, Michael Jackson. Like, them is all pieces of Quincy Jones, man, and how he's able to get the best out of people. You know what I mean? So I'm really inspired by a lot, whether it's, what I'm watching on TV, what I hear from my family, what I get from a friend, just, whatever. I'm inspired by a lot.
It seems like you're just very open to all of that. Anything. It wasn't just, like, I'm looking at music for inspiration. I'm looking at everything. What can inspire me, And a big thing that you always seem to talk about is story and storytelling.
Yeah.
Like, that is a big part of where your inspiration is drawn from, and seeing people's stories and being able to learn from them. What do you feel like is a story that you feel like is really important to you?
A story that's important to me. There's too many of them. My personal story is probably the most important story to me, because it's my story, and I was there for it, right? Like, when I tell people, like, I was having this joke with a friend the other day. We was talking about Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City, and how that's a day in his life. And I was like, realistically, I can make 47 Good Kid, Mad Cities off of days in my life, bro. Right? Like, like, it's things that I haven't even, like, you hear Flowers and you say,
beautiful song.
Man, when RIP my boy Brian, but like, we got stories. Like, it's very just
Right.
like I don't really dive deep, haven't really dove deep enough into these stories and these plots and what can happen. Like I'm talking to him in that same thing. I'm like, it was a time in my life where the mom that I was talking about, my granny, my uncle, was
Yeah.
all locked up right across the street from each other. And I go see my granny, and she's like, I'm talking to her. I'm a 7-year-old kid. I'm like, hey, granny, I'm saying, I just want you out. She like, hey, your story gonna touch the world one day. I don't want to hear that as a 7-year-old, bro. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's real.
Yeah.
And I just told you that, and that's only 10 minutes of my story.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And like, we could talk about things for days, the highs, the lows, the greats, the moments, like the overcomings, the times where we was, like I said, sleeping on pallets and floors, like the whole nine. Man, I done been to college, and you know what I'm saying, and then got kicked out because we ain't have enough money. You know what I'm saying, like all the type stuff, man. Yeah, bro. So. And then you have the triumphs. Like, everybody can't say that they went back to their hometown and did a show, or
Yeah, absolutely.
or been able to meet certain people and be in certain rooms, and be able to give people my story on stage and have them give me their life story after I get off. Like, bro, man, this happened to me, or
Yeah.
like, man, I'm inspired by this. Like, I want to inspire people to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
Man,
It's
for
beautiful
real.
what you can do when you like really reflect on your life and your stories and see that other people can really relate, and it
Yeah.
touches them in a way that maybe they've never heard that before.
Yeah.
They've never heard someone else vocalize something. They thought they were alone, in
Nah,
that world.
facts. And I think that's one thing about music, man. There's nothing like music, bro. Like, I think the biggest thing from the pandemic, and the first time I went to a show after the pandemic, well, I was actually in the crowd. It was Lucky Day, and I was like, there's no other experience like a room full of people, sharing in a musical experience. There's nothing like that. No other experience on earth. Like, it can go beyond languages, it can go beyond
Yeah.
whatever, but we're actually there, like, in the presence, feeling something,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's nothing like that. Whether you're on the stage or you in a crowd, like, that connection of, like, that shared experience is nothing like that.
It's I feel like the closest thing to describe is it's like magic. It
Yeah.
feels it's something that you can't really describe, and when you're out of that moment, you can't quite put your finger on it, but
Yeah.
you knew when you were there was something that it was nothing else. It was you in that moment. Nothing else mattered in those times.
I think those are the best, how you just said it, the moments where you have to be a part of it to explain it are like some of the best moments, right? Like, you can tell somebody all day long what it's like to be in love,
Yeah.
but unless you felt it,
Yeah.
you can't explain it. Like, it's like, bro, I could tell you all day long what it's like to have my daughter and my kid.
Yeah.
Like, that type of love too. But until you have it, you can't, like, conceptualize that in
Yeah.
words. Like, I try to. I'm
Right.
just like, I try to
Right.
conceptualize certain things in words. But that's just one of those things, bro. Like,
Yeah.
you can't, you just have to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since having your daughter, how has that had an impact on your music?
It had impact across the board. Like,
Yeah, I can
you know what I
imagine.
mean? Like, I think it also, I think certain people have children and it affects them differently.
Yeah.
For me, when I see her, I'm like, I gotta go harder. Like, I need her to, like, I've always said I want her heroes to be in her household. Like, she don't have to look outside. If she's inspired by the outside, that's great. You
Yeah.
need that.
Yeah.
But she don't have to be like, oh, I need to see X, Y. Nah, bro. At the house, my daddy
That's
made
amazing.
it. My mama did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I want her to have it.
And
you know?
seeing those people that are so close to you
Yeah.
never give up and grind and work and be passionate and like always be there for, your kids, but also your dreams.
Yeah.
Be able to balance that. That's something that's very inspiring as a kid because, I think sometimes parents will kind of give up on things. And
Yeah.
when that happens, your kid sees that.
Right.
And they see
and
like,
that's what you're teaching them right then and there. I think that for me, and this is what I say. Like, I don't even think the word is inspired when it's your child. When it's a part of their daily life, it becomes them. Like, they don't have to, like, that's just in them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
she already got my DNA, right?
Yep.
So now you get that and you get to see that in action. Oh yeah, like, she gonna be dangerous. That's
Oh,
all
yeah.
I say. She gonna be dangerous,
Man,
bro.
I love that video when she comes in the room and you guys are having a session in the living room.
Yeah,
And you're like, hey, what do you want to do? You want to stay here and make, you can make music, you can be with music, you understand music, or you can wait till we're finished. And I think like being surrounded by that, like as a kid,
Yeah.
you realize like, wow, these are such cool things that most people don't get to experience.
Right.
And just from her being able to be exposed consistently to that kind of stuff, but also being treated with love, like, hey, you are always allowed to be here, but like, what do you want to do? And letting her make that decision. And
Yeah.
dude, it's awesome watching those videos and those sessions, man.
Yeah, man, that's my baby, man. She's very smart, very intelligent, and she like, Daddy, I want to make music. Right now, she's starting to put sentences together, and like she's learning. I recorded her the other day singing her ABCs into the mic, so she understands like mic etiquette and studio etiquette. Just things that she's learning, like in the sense of, I don't have to tell her, hey, Daddy's recording. You gotta be quiet. Like she understands, hey, when we recording the audio, we gotta be quiet if you're in here. If you're not in here, cool. But even then, her mama's gonna tell her, hey, Daddy recording. We gotta be quiet right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Like she understands it. So she's starting to pick up these things, and she has 1,500 keyboards and pianos and guitars. She loves.
Oh, she's gonna be dangerous, man. She's
on
gonna
her
be
own. I
dangerous.
mean, her mama's an amazing photographer. And so she has that. She see her mom is a full blown entrepreneur and kills. So she gets kind of everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like from both sides. Like she dangerous, bro. Simple as that. Yeah, she's gonna be dangerous.
I think it's amazing that you like take the time as well, like to bring her in and to explain these concepts and things at such a young age, because I think sometimes when kids are younger, people can kind of say like, oh, well, you'll understand when you're older, but I feel like for you, it's never been that. It's like, hey, I'm going to explain as long as it needs to take, so that way we can all be a part of this,
I think it's something I was talking to my therapist about earlier. I love children. I love like younger people in general.
Yeah.
And something that I remember is I have great long-term memory. I can remember what I felt like, what I thought like as a kid. I'm like, it was still me, just with less information.
Yeah.
Right? Less information and less experience, but I felt the same feelings. And so I think about that. I'm like, man, people like dumb down children. I'm like, bro, children are intelligent and they're learning. They picking up and I'm like, bro, I remember how I thought. I remember how I felt. I remember that distinctively. So I don't want to, like take that away. But something else is something that I don't remember which artist it was. I think it was Toby. He was saying, it was somebody, but they were saying, don't create two separate lives, because then it becomes hard to separate like family music. Like have them be a part of it as much as you can, because then, hey, we in here making music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and one day by accident, she made a beat that I have. Like she was like pressing on my machine. Shout out Native Instruments, bro. They need to go sponsor my boy.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yeah, she was playing on it, and she made this super trash beat, but I was excited that she made it, so I was like, I could say this for her, so that way she can hear one day.
Oh, man,
this the trash she used to make. And look at you now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna be
keeping
fire.
those little things, and seeing where it all started and helping her kind of like curate those things. It's gonna be so beautiful to look back on.
Right. But here's my thing. Selfishly, I don't want her to do music. I don't. Like, I want to be talented, because music neurologically does a lot when you're learning how to do music and yada yada. But I want her to do the like things. Mind you, I'm still young, so I can still do it. But it's like things I want to do, bro. Like when it comes to science and like that I didn't get the opportunity to.
Sure.
I was a protege as a kid, bro. Like college was trying to get me in the 6th grade. My ideas in kindergarten and academic decathlon was beating 5th graders. You know what I'm saying? Like I had all of that without certain resources, and then life kind of went kind of crazy, and like I just want to create that bubble. Like, yo, go do that, and then you can still be like, dang, she do music too. Like, that's fine, but like, yeah, bro, I'm an astrophysicist, bro, and I just figured out a way for us to get to Mars. And grow. Like, that's the type. Like, we big head people, man. So we got she's an intelligent like being, bro, and I just want her to like just have all of that. Yeah.
Well, that's what it seems like, just your person and your personality and how you move through life is always encouraging people to do whatever they want to do. Yeah. Like you said, like, you'll find a friend who wants to do something, and you're like, let's do it. You can do it absolutely.
Yeah, I'm on your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you tell me you want to do something, my boy Jordan that's over there holding the camera, he don't even remember when he told me. He was like, hey, I want to do video work. Bet. The opportunity came. Hey, bro, I remember you said you want to do video work, bro. And I'm on them. But, you know, certain people, it's like, you don't have to be on them. He one of those people. Like, he was just, like, ready. And he like, man, I finna about like, hey, bro, don't even trip.
Yeah.
Learn with the equipment that I have.
Yeah.
And then you figure out what you want and all that. But, like, learn. Like, I'm giving you the opportunity. Like, suck.
Yeah.
Be ass. And then become great. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
what it's all about. And that's really all people need, you know, right? It's just that little opportunity, that little push, or that little, someone to say, do it. Instead of saying, well, you know, well, this or that. It's just like, it doesn't matter.
Nah,
you know,
bro,
if someone
go
wants to
for
do
it.
something, go for it full force. And like you said, you might suck at it, but
you gonna suck at it. Start off, you gonna suck. Like, even if, like, let's say it, like, I don't know, take the best singer that you ever heard. Let's take a Whitney Houston. At some point, yes, she had talent, but she wasn't that version of Whitney Houston.
Right.
She went through the trenches in the church. If you know church, she went through the trenches in the church, came out one of the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, like, everybody suck at the same place. We don't all start at the same place, but for the level that you're going to be, you suck when you first start.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You're going to look back at this one day
Yeah.
and be like, ugh, I think that was, I hear some songs, I'll be like, ooh, that ain't.
I also think it's hard, too, when you acquire a taste in very, like, quality things. So say music, you love quality music. You understand quality music, whether that be the mixing, whether that be, you know, the instruments, how everything's blended together, delivery. And then you start to do it, and you're like, there's something off here, you know? And that's where you kind of keep critiquing yourself to the point where you might give up, or you never do anything because you're just so hard on yourself.
It's okay to be hard on yourself, but the thing is, you also have to learn to, I'm critiquing to learn. Dang, okay, this that don't seem like this. Let me go listen to this song. Let me see if I can find an interview of him talking how he built this song or she built this song. Let me go. Like, you have to be able to learn. And once you figure out that I'm always learning, because that never shuts off. You know what I mean? That never shuts off. I don't care. It was a interview I seen of Denzel that said that he said he still goes to acting classes to this day.
Wow.
To this day. So he's like, even if I could just learn one thing or get better at one thing while I'm in there. And if Denzel can do that, anybody, bro, like, you got to stay learning, bro.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like, I've talked about this before, where there's something like with quick learning and deep learning, right? Sometimes you have quick learning where you need to learn on the spot to do something, right? I think people get really tired at the end of the day from quick learning all the time, situational things.
Yeah.
But then there's a such thing as deep learning, where you're actually intentionally putting yourself in uncomfortable places to really learn something that's difficult, right? And get to that end goal and not give up. And it takes a longer amount of focus and resilience and understanding to get there.
Facts. I think especially in a society where now things are so quick to get to. Which is okay. You just have to also learn that, like, hey, because my version of learning is, I have two versions of learning that I like. I can learn from you and your wins or your mistakes or your mistakes. So I can learn from you. I don't have to go through it. Or if it's something I have to do, I'm going to get to it quickly so that way I can learn faster, right? Like, okay, I'm ass. That's cool. I'm doing this video. I'm doing it. Let me figure it out. Cool. I figured it out. Okay, now let's figure out something else, right? Like, that's me. So, like, but that never stops. So I'm just like, let's get to it. Let's mess up at it. Let's be horrible at it. Let's be great at it. And then let's repeat. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah. With your music, what do you feel like the hardest thing to learn was?
Rapping. I was trash at rapping when I first started.
Really?
Bro. I'm dead serious, bro.
Really?
I was the worst.
What was trash about it?
Everything. Like, name it, bro. It was horrible, bro.
That's crazy, because what you got out now is wild.
Yeah, and that's why I always say, I always feel like skill beats out talent. Like, for instance, for me, I was naturally talented at drawing. I never put much into it. Like, as in, I never, like, really worked on being better at it. You know what I mean? But, like, rapping, I was trash. So when I get to this point of like, bro, I can out rap
Mm-hmm.
all y'all. The way I feel about it is because I worked at that, which is two different. I have two different mindsets depending, right? Like sometimes I had the Kobe Bryant effect. Kobe Bryant is like the I had to work and 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 work to be as good as the rest of y'all or better than the rest of y'all, right? Like I had to outwork y'all.
Right.
I wasn't just, not to say LeBron don't work, but I didn't have the intangibles that LeBron did. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I have the other side of it is like, bro, I'm Shaq, bro. Y'all can't stop me, bro. Like, period. And it don't matter, bro. You can do whatever you want to, draw whatever you want to, bro. I'm on your ass, bro. Y'all, it don't matter what you draw up, double team me, triple team me, whatever. I'm taking it to the basket. You can't stop me. You can, whatever. That's the way I feel about it. Like, I'm the most dominant, bro. Like it's an unfair advantage that I have, and that's the way I feel about it.
Right.
Then it's the other side of like, also, I worked and beat at this craft hard enough to feel like that too. You know what I'm saying? So like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's like what is like a session for you to practice your craft? You know, like say let's take rapping, right? When you were starting as, you know, not that good and working your way up, what was your regimen? How were you practicing? How were you attacking it?
Man, that's a great question. A lot of it was just building it and listening back to it. Some of it was I would go listen to like top 40 hip hop and like listen to it. Then I go listen to classic albums and I go listen to deep cuts. Then I would send my stuff to people who I felt were good enough to give critique and let them critique me. Like I need to know, criticize. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I always sound like that. You doing it? Like, then when I get to the point where I'm like, nah, I'm that guy. When I'm sending it to you now, I don't want you to critique it. Either you like it or you don't.
Yeah.
Like, simple as that. Like that's it. Like, now I'm making great ass music. So it's like either you like it or you don't. Like, it's not gonna hit with everybody. Like,
absolutely.
Every Kanye song I'm not gonna like.
Right.
And that's one of my favorite artists. Every Drake song everybody not gonna like. Every Kendrick song, you know what I'm saying? So like, if they can't do that, like, you know what I'm saying? They at the top of the industry. Every MJ song everybody don't like. Every Prince song everybody don't like.
I think that's a huge and a great point, because I think people can get very discouraged. You know, they send someone their music and they really like it, and you're like, it's all right. But the thing is, like you said, Drake could send a song, and if someone says it's all right, that's Drake. Bro. You know, but if it doesn't matter as long as you feel connected to it, and I think that's the most important piece of it, right? It's like you work on your craft to get to a level of skill which you can appreciate,
right? And
then you share it with others, and it's like, look, you don't have to critique it because I think that it's perfect in my head. Yeah. But if I want critiques, I'll ask for it, right?
Period. Right. And I'm asking for people who I want to hear critiques from. Yeah. Right. And most of the time, if I'm getting critiques, it's about other things. Like if I'm specifically trying to do something, like how can I get better at this? Yeah. You know, I'm giving it to somebody like that. But once you get to a certain place, like you believe in your skill. Like for me, I don't put out a song if I can't listen to it on repeat. And I know my level of repeatable songs are great. So like, I know if I can listen to it on repeat, then shit, you know, somebody gonna like that mug, bro.
It makes a lot of sense, bro. Cause Hindsight, bro, that was on when that dropped. That was on repeat like nobody's business, bro. Flowers, Love, Rinse and Repeat. Yeah, great music, man. And something I wanted to say too, cause you mentioned it earlier. Was that you make a lot of anime references, like specifically Dragon Ball. You talked about Goku
Dragon Ball raised me, bro.
Yeah, but like I heard I forgot what song it was where you talked about Piccolo, Ultra Instinct.
Was it Rookie of the Year? It's either Winner of the Year or Rookie of the Year. Yeah. It's one of those two, but yeah.
But so you know, Dragon Ball is a huge inspiration for you. And like you said, anime in general. What animes are you watching right now?
Right now, I'm not watching nothing. Okay. For a while there, I was just like getting into different stuff, but I'm not really. I don't know what anime. I'm not watching any current animes right now. I think the last one I was watching, like Castlevania. I started My Hero for a little bit. Yeah. Trying to think, what was I watching, bro? Son of Zeus? That one was fire, bro. Yeah, that was crazy. just different stuff, man. I'll go watch it when I feel like, because
Yeah.
what happens is I get sucked into them. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's what happens, bro. So,
Yeah, it becomes your life.
Yeah. And I'd be like, dang, bro, like I could never mind. I'm not here to down any anime. But the classics, bro, I'm a classic guy. Gundam, you know what I'm saying? Sailor Moon, you know what I'm saying? Like, shoot, them.
The classic animes, man, they're the best. Like, I'm a big fan of Hunter x Hunter. Like, that's one of my favorites. Samurai Champloo. If you haven't watched Samurai Champloo, that's a
Cowboy Bebop was my joint.
Cowboy Bebop.
It was the one I couldn't remember the name of it, and I found it and I took a screenshot, but it was like deep in my memory. I used to watch all the time. I just remember dude had an old school and he had a giant, like it wasn't a Gundam, but it was like a giant machine that he would be in. When I find the name of it, I'm gonna send it to you. You may know it, but yeah.
It's not Gurren Lagann, is it?
I don't know. I can't remember the name.
Yeah,
but I just remember I was like, dang, I used to really watch this stuff and couldn't remember the name of it. And it came up on something. I was like, that's it. So I got to go back and rewatch that because, yeah.
That's awesome. And like I said, it kind of just speaks to how open you are to inspiration and all these things around you because, like, being able to watch anime and draw inspiration and then use that in your music in a tasteful way is difficult. It's really difficult to use things in your music that feels tasteful, but I feel like it's because it's so relevant to you in your life. You know, and I think in your music, you're very transparent. You're very real with your music. And so, like, when you listen to things, it's very, these things feel like you. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's crazy that you say that. You feel like I'm transparent in my music?
I do.
What makes you say that? I just want to hear, like, from the outside in, what makes you feel like I'm transparent?
I love to listen to music and lyrics, right? And so there's sometimes when people talk about things that I'm like, it feels like they're talking to the general public about things. Yeah. But I feel like when I listen to your music, it feels like you're telling me a story or you're letting me in a little bit, right? You put things that are relatable to you, but then what you do is you inspire people with it, right? Like love, rinse, and repeat. Like I feel like the message there is very beautiful. And it's you're talking to people, you're bringing them in, and it's like, to me, it just feels so like I'm talking to you. Yeah. You know, and so when I listen to your music, I feel very connected to you. And so I think that's what I mean by transparent, because I think that sometimes when you listen to artists, it doesn't feel like you're getting them. You know, it doesn't feel like you're getting...
You're not getting the buy-in. It doesn't feel like you're talking to them or you're hearing from them.
There's something underlying, whether it be that they're... You can. I mean, I feel like music is energy, right? So there's a certain level of ability to put your energy into your music and have it translate, and the other person feels what you were feeling when you were making it. And I feel like that's kind of how I feel when I listen to your music.
Nah, that's dope. I like to hear that. I like to hear that a lot because I feel like, yes, I do, connect, and I am transparent to a certain degree, but I feel like it's still layers. Like what I said earlier about I can make, 47 good kids. Sure. Not necessarily talking about, I can make 47 of those albums. I was saying the story within it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you feel like there's still, like you mentioned, like there's layers to it, but there's still room to go.
Man, we ain't even, like, scratching the surface is one thing, but I don't really feel like I let y'all into my life. Like, it's so much. And, like, I'm just now about to start tapping into that. I think Flowers, hindsight, TBD, kind of let you in there a little bit. But it don't let you in there drastically.
Is the camera off? Okay.
It just died.
Oh, it died? The camera?
Yeah. It said change battery.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going anymore.
We'll be right back. Take a quick break.
Fire. Yeah.
Who's your dream collab?
Collaborate. Ooh. Dang, that's a hard one. I'm gonna say Kanye. I'm gonna say Kanye. Okay, Kanye from whatever perspective. Yeah. And then if somebody was still around, it would be Amy Winehouse. Yeah, bro. Like, she was like, I got this whole theory of, like, Adele kind of stepped into her lane, right? Especially when you listen to 19 Adele, it sounds like she's trying to be Amy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's before she called her herself, right? Like, it was like, because Adele can sing. Yeah. But Amy was different. Like, it was like, you hear her songs and you feel like what you said, like, you feel like bro, I'm right here with you, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, she made the whole. This is how you know when something is great. She made the whole a happy song out of her pain, and everybody was singing about.
Yeah.
They tried to make me go to rehab. Like, this is not a. She did it in the major, made it feel like it's like, bro, what?
I think it's interesting because when you really think about it, like there's a lot of amazing music out there that's made from some of the most painful and tough times of your life. And being
Facts.
that vulnerable and being able to put that music out, like how did that feel to you, right? When you put out Flowers, I feel like that was a very
Bro, Flowers is. I was literally no joke. Was talking to my therapist about it earlier. I have a love-hate relationship with Flowers from like multiple angles, right? Like, it's so beautiful when people come up to you and they tell you, like, man, I did a show a few weeks ago at Trees, and I had multiple people from the audience tell me that their best friend just died. And like, yeah, and they telling me this, giving me that. I've been in different cities and people are like, yo, man, I'm getting back in contact with my in place, whatever, right? Because I really
100%.
want to make sure, yada, yada, yada. But then you had a whole other side of me that's just like, I for sure wish that song never had to come out.
Yeah,
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
100%.
it's
hard.
like, it's both sides of it. Like, the older I get, right? When I made Love, Rinse, and Repeat, it was from a place, although it talks about some different stuff, when I'm talking about, like loving yourself and, living in the moment, living in your life, whatever the case may be, the older I get, the more I feel how young certain people, who passed away, like, they didn't get some of the experience that I get. Like,
Yeah.
growing older is a privilege.
Yeah.
And then once you start realizing that, it's like, man, like, you had a survivor get like, dang, bro, they didn't make it to this point. They didn't even get to see XYZ. They didn't get to experience this. They didn't get to experience that. And the older you get, you be like, dang, bro. I had somebody said this about Martin Luther King before, and I remember saying that was like he was middle aged at like 17. Like, whatever you die at,
Wow,
like,
that's
you're
true.
middle aged. So, like, certain people may progress further. Like, when you think about everything that Tupac did, bro, it was really everything that we know him for was really in like a 5-year span.
Yeah.
Right? 5 years, films, the music, the way he touched the culture, everything. 5 years. And, but he was at his oldest age, right? You know what I'm saying? So, like, and when you talk to people, it's like he knew it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was like, I really feel like the tongue and you can speak things into existence, and that may have been something that he brought on himself, but he worked like he didn't have much time left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even remember where this question started, but what I do know is,
I think maybe collaboration, but
yeah.
I think
But
this
anyway,
took a very
yeah,
beautiful
anyway.
turn because it's. I think when you think about life and you think about, when you think about your life in term of it's limited, and you have to kind of like you said, I believe you said this in your song. You kind of like woke you up.
Yeah.
I think you might have spoken about your grandma or someone, but it kind of shook you and like woke you up. It's like, because I think sometimes we can be in this grind mode, heads down, right? We're constantly thinking about all these things, our dreams and our aspirations and all these things that really do matter so much to us. We put our all into, but those moments kind of make you take another look around and say, what's really important right now,
Facts. And I think, it's also, it was this interview that I read some years ago, and it stuck with me. It was this person who talked to people who were on hospice and asked them, like, what is, whether it was like regrets or
Right.
their biggest things. And, like, some of them was like, I wish I didn't hold that grudge. Some of them was like, I wish I still talked to XYZ.
Yeah.
Some of them was like, I wish I lived my life for me.
Yeah.
And not like my parents or my children. Like, I live my life for me, because you only get one of them, right?
Yeah.
And that's something that, like, you don't get a restart that we know of, right?
Yeah.
Like, you may, you know what I'm saying? Out there, we don't, nothing's
Right,
for sure,
right,
right? But what we do know for sure is that we get this experience on Earth. You know what I mean? Like what you said about, when we maybe look, hey man, 10 years from now, bro, we don't know what.
We don't know.
Not even if you'll have life. that ain't even it. But you don't know if life is going to be this way. You don't know
Yeah.
who is going to be here to be a part of that. Like, you don't know whatever. It's this line by Drake that sits with me from this one song where he's like, maybe I wouldn't have worked this hard if you was healthy and it wasn't so hard. Like, it's like, you know, going back to, that's what it was. Like, going back to, like, flowers, and, like, when I'm thinking about that, it's certain things that are going on in my life right now, or certain people, and I'm looking at it, and it's like, man, I got to go hard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I need them to witness the things that they put life into.
Yeah.
Like, even a part of the whole show that I did in Grand Prairie, right? Like, I had my grandma there, I had my aunt there, I had family there, and I had to have them witness, like you put so much work into this, and now you get to see people come and, like, you know, that paid to be here,
Yeah.
to, like, see this live, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that was a dream come true.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, and, like, was able to get my granny there was a whole situation, right? And, like, you can always be like, oh man, I'm gonna wait till I'm at this point, but, like,
Yeah.
man, you know, I want my granny to live forever, but we don't. That moment may not come for however many years, and while I got it right now, we knocked that off the checklist, bro. Like,
Absolutely.
I was able to do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's doing with what you have, you know?
Yeah.
And with what you have is the best. That's
Yeah.
all you can offer. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything that you can offer at this moment is the best.
Just do it.
Just do it, man. That's
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that's how you put on your shows.
Yeah.
You're like, whatever you can give, it's just about giving at whatever level and supporting at whatever level you can.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I mean, I feel like it speaks to kind of just how you live life. It's like, I'm going to give my all with whatever I have at this moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whether that means I'm trash at rapping right now, I'm going to give it my all. Because eventually, it's going to get to the level I want. But right now, I just have to go.
Right. And you don't always, this is going back to that, you don't always have to learn publicly. Right? Like,
that's a
you
good
know what I'm
point.
saying? Like,
That's a great
my
point.
trash beats, y'all will never hear it. Like, it's songs that I make to this day. Sometimes I'll be like,
Yeah.
I hit a lot more often now. I really am good at this shit. But, like, but if it's something I don't, you don't have to hear it, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I may be the only person that ever hear this.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I mean? Like, so it's okay to learn, like, and then once you ready, like, you can go out there. But the point is just to keep moving,
Yeah.
right? And be okay with being trash. If you're okay with that, you'll get there.
It's hard, man. You got to kind of swallow your pride, and you got to kind of just have a lot of humility, you know, and saying that, I mean, when I started the podcast, I did it in my apartment.
Yeah.
I mean, my first 10 episodes, this is the first time I'm ever somewhere outside of my apartment.
Yeah.
I rearrange everything, you know, like I set everything up. I have box lights, my dog's running around everywhere. But I knew I just wanted to speak with people and hear more of their stories and their processes and their struggles, because it's important. And to share people's perspectives who are just immensely talented, but maybe just need a place to just sit down and just talk whatever they need to talk about.
Yeah.
But I had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, you got to start, man. You got to start. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, take that jump. You know, it's also two, like, ways that I look at life. You know, a lot of people, you know, like, let's say, take going back to school, for instance.
Yeah.
And people will say, dang, man, that's going to be 4 years. The 4 years going to pass no matter what.
Yep.
So at the end of the 4 years, you're either going to be like, dang, I'm so glad that I started this 4 years ago. Right? Like, whatever you do now, and this is the way I think of my life, you're either doing one or two things. You're either setting your future self up, or you being like, man, fuck you. To your future self. Whatever that may be, put it in there. Like, let's dream, health, whatever. Like, you either, like, setting yourself up for success in the future, whatever that success looks like, or you being like, nah, I don't really care about you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when for me, that's how I think about it, right? Like, am I going to be like, because a lot of people overthink the opposite way of like, oh man, if I would have just did this,
Right.
You can't change that.
Yeah.
But you can do right now, so that way you don't have to be like that again.
Yeah.
Right? Because we spend too much brain. A lot of people spend too much brain energy on the past, which is gone. You can't do anything about it. But what I can do is from this point forward, I can do this.
You know, you talk about being in therapy and like how that's really helped you. What do you feel like are some of the biggest things that you've learned by going to therapy?
Do the work. which I knew. That's why I like my therapist. I learned very young. In elementary, we had a counselor. Her name was Miss Woods, and I would go to her couch and talk to her about all the BS that was going on in my life, because it was a lot.
Yeah.
And she knew my people, and she never went and told certain things. I've seen a lot as a kid, and she taught me, how to feel things, how to, how to, deal with those things, yourself. And, I think a lot of my current therapist, she's big on like do the work. Like you can only control what you can control.
Yeah.
The ability to say no, taking care of yourself before you take care of others. Because like, if you're on a plane and
Right.
that mask drop, you start trying to get somebody else. Now y'all both dead.
Yeah.
Instead of you putting on yours
And then
and
to
then
be able to
taking
help.
care of them.
Yeah.
So, making sure that you good
Yeah.
is the biggest thing. Because if you good, if I got a lot of calling on my life and I'm not taking care of myself, I can't help others.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
That's a hard lesson to learn.
It is. But you feel like, you may be being selfish, right?
Yeah,
like, but
absolutely.
you're not, because if I fuck off, then like, who gonna make sure my daughter good? Who gonna make sure I'm good? Nobody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, outside of like my close people, I feel like I got a very good, but only to a certain degree can they do whatever,
For sure.
right? Like if I'm not taking care of my mental and I have to go into the hospital, whatever it may be, like they can only do what they can do, but
Yeah.
they can't get in here and fix this. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? Whatever that may be. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's I think like learning those lessons in life sometimes take a lot of time, but it's just like putting yourself in the right situations and talking to the right people can really help expedite that,
Yeah.
especially like you said with therapy, right? Like my girlfriend's a therapist.
Yeah.
And so she's taught me a whole lot,
Dang, your girlfriend at therapist.
Yeah.
That dynamic.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that dynamic is wild.
Yeah, she's taught me a lot, man. Just a lot about like not even that she gives me like a set but just the fact that she's opened up to that world. Because I think for a long time I was just like, I don't really see what I'm my own therapist, like I can work through my own shit, like I can do whatever I need to do. But I think the questions and the things that she understands and how she can take things out of people and connect everything from your childhood and see how that reflects in you today. It's something that like I honestly just didn't understand. And now I'm
Right.
like, wow, these things or these qualities, maybe putting others before myself, I had to do that when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and now that's why I do that today.
Yeah.
And now I can kind of work through that now, knowing where that started.
Right. I feel like going to therapy is like going to school. That's what it's like. You learn so much. It's not like, I feel like people have this perceived situation. It's like, this is what you learn, do the homework.
Yeah.
That's what therapy is. It's, to me, like, right? It's not like, I think people think like, oh, you go in there, you talk about your problems. Like, bro, you may talk about your problems and your therapist be like, 98% of that is your bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you need to deal with this, yada, yada, yada. I understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, depending on every therapist has different styles,
absolutely.
right? And then you also learn, it may help you understand other people's problems. Like, understanding, man, like when I deal with a lot of addiction in my family, right? And my therapist helped me understand addiction from a brain standpoint. And when she explained it a certain way, she said, hey, addiction works like this. The person that duct tape, tied up, chained up, thrown in a trunk. The person that you see is the person driving the car. The only way for them to get free is for them to hit something hella hard and get flung out of there. They have to hit their version of rock bottom to make it out of that. It's like, it's neurological. So they have to do that. So they gonna lie to you. They gonna do whatever they have to get whatever they need to get.
Right.
And once I understood that, it helped me not be as like, dang, they doing this to me. It's like their brain is not allowing them to be the person that you want them to be, or that they want themselves to be.
Right.
So that's what I mean by that. Like, it may not just be my stuff. It may be like, dang, it helps me understand other stuff. So now I treat it differently or maneuver around it differently, understanding what it is.
That's beautiful. You get a new perspective and a new like sense of empathy for people that maybe like you said you couldn't understand like
Right.
in that way. Maybe like you don't feel that you're addicted to anything, and seeing that you're like it frustrates you a little bit when you can't understand it, and you're trying to search for answers yourself.
Yeah.
As to like, well, but for me, whenever I'm doing this, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then whenever they kind of explain it with a different perspective and they draw those analogies, you're just like,
Right.
oh shit, dang, all right, you know?
Right. Like it really opens you up, man. Like that's a strong situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
There's this interview with Russ, and he talks about how like he really started doing therapy, and what he would do was he would be on the phone with his therapist and he would talk through and have a session, and right after he would go and record a song into the mic.
Yeah.
And do exactly what he talked about. All the things that he was unearthing, he was going, because he said that, music is his therapy. So he had a therapist help him work through stuff and immediately articulated it and reflected on it through music.
That's great. That's great. I was literally having a talk with my therapist today where I felt like I had started losing myself in the sense of before, if something happened, no matter what, excitement, happy, mad, sad, whatever, music was the first outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the point where I'd be like, man, I need to wait on this therapy session because I don't want to talk to her about it.
Right.
And I was like, I had to learn the balance of being like, nah, let me get this out musically.
Yeah.
And then let me deal with certain things
Absolutely.
because that's how I do it. Like, it's a piece of it, like working out helps your mental, getting enough sun,
Mm-hmm.
Being around people, making sure you're planning. It's a lot of things that go into it. That's just a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's not everything. And that's
No.
why I be trying to tell people, like, until you go to therapy, you don't really understand therapy. Shows don't do it as justice. People telling you about it, similar to it, like it's an experience that you have to have, and then it may take a while for you to find somebody whose style fits
For sure.
what works for you.
Yeah.
And like therapy, I believe in it wholeheartedly. But it's not like it's just a piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to do it, like you said. It's not like you're gonna go to therapy and you're gonna be fixed, right?
Yeah.
You have to do the work, right?
Yeah.
Like that's part of the puzzle. That's part of the steps that you're taking to get better, right? To elevate your mental, to elevate your life, and to work through shit that you've been kind of distracting yourself or kind of just saying, it's whatever. It's just you sit down, you confront yourself, and you work so you can catch up to the present moment and move forward.
I'm gonna tell you the part that's trash about therapy.
Yeah.
The trash part about therapy is once you start dealing with everything in the present and you get all that together, your brain is like, hey, bro, it's some stuff from when you was 4. We need to talk about that, bro. And it be like, bro, I ain't even what? I wasn't even thinking about it. And it's like your brain now has the capacity to deal with stuff that you like locked down from back when. That's where I'm at now. I'm like, bro, it's unearthing stuff that like I've been like, man.
Right.
All right, bro, wait. I'm talking about I'm 5. I'm talking to my little bro and we talking about stuff and I'm like, dang. Like, and they just open it up. But it's similar to I was having somebody had asked about which one was better, the stage or making music. And wholeheartedly, the stage is better. I love the stage. It's freedom. It's like I get to go out there and do me and connect and like, because no matter what it is, like whether it's a good moment, bad moment, whatever, creating is the trenches. Like, I may be here mentally and have to go here spiritually or mentally to create this song. Like, let's say this, bro. Let's say I got an idea and I just had a grip of money hit my account and I got this song idea, bro. I'm up and I don't touch it for a couple months. And now my account negative. But I got to go back here to finish this song. So now I'm going there. That's a positive way. Then you may be like the opposite way of like, bro, life is going well as shit. But I got to go back here to this point to unearth this and get back into that mental place. So like that's making music is the trenches.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the trenches, bro.
And like you said, going back to those places, it's never fun. It's never fun to go back.
It can be fun. Depending upon what you're doing. Like when I created Summer Vibes, going back to the memories of like hanging out.
Yeah.
Like it can, and that's why I say
Right.
it goes both ways, right? Like we was in the middle of the pandemic when I created that, and I was like,
I love that.
shoot, maybe I do need to go back, man. Let me think about being outside and being with the homies. Like that's where that came from, like Summer Vibes. So like, I lied. That did not come in the middle of the pandemic. I finished it in the middle of the pandemic, but I made that in Denver. So nah, I lied, bro. But the second half of it definitely came from that perspective.
I love that song. Jill and I were literally bumping that song all summer.
For real,
it's an amazing song. So it just brings the vibe. Like even when we were out with friends, we literally would just like have a speaker and playing music, and that song comes through rotation every time, man.
That's
It's
dope.
good.
I love to hear that, bro. I love to hear that about that song. When I made that song, I was like, I wanted to capture two different things. It was two different songs. Summertime and Get Around by Tupac. For some reason, I just wanted to mesh those and like.
So good. The production on it is so good too, man. Like,
Hey, shout out
everything about
Levi,
it, bro. Like,
shout out Levi W, man.
it's good, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, you know, when I listen to your music, I feel like it just feels complete. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like, probably, I don't know if you feel this way, but like, if you ever look back and listen to your music and you hear like a little part that you're like could have done a little better there, or it wasn't like perfect in your ear still. Like, do you ever feel that way?
Yeah, I think it's the more time that passes. But I would say everything from starter pack up. Like, when I listen to it, it's not necessarily this part. It's like, I may have been like, man, I wish I would have been more free and did this melody that I wanted to do right there that I wasn't confident in. Something that's maybe now in my toolbox that I didn't have, like, where I wasn't confident enough to do that on mic, right? But when I put out a song, I listen. It's repeatable, I think it's great when I put it out. But then I'm like, dang, that little sauce could have made it. You know what I'm saying? This is that's it. But it be stuff that I try to do, and I'm like, dang, I don't think it sound good enough. Or like just not being confident in it. But now, like, I'm gonna try it. I'm okay now with being like, if they like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. But now I gotta just get out of my head. So like I said, I start taking vocal lessons, start doing this, start doing that to really get more confident in those areas. Yeah,
It's doing the work. It's the hard work. I mean, to go and take vocal lessons and step outside of, like, you know, naturally I feel like you just have a really great voice. But to take the extra step and be like, I'm gonna be a little uncomfortable here and go and take vocal lessons, because I don't know, to me that's I took vocal lessons one time and it's nerve wracking, bro. Like having someone else sit across like, all right, ready, we're gonna, and you're like, and it just feels weird, you know, your breath gets short and that type of stuff. But the fact that you're so dedicated to your craft and getting better, and understanding the fundamentals and really working your way in all those areas to make sure that you can do and express the way that you want to express is amazing. Yeah, man. It's I love your music. Your music's amazing.
Appreciate it, my boy.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate it.
With I guess tell the people what we can look forward to. You got new music dropping.
Oh yeah, new music always dropping. So yeah, stay connected. ALLNAMESTKN everywhere.com. Whatever you want to do, you can go check it out. Check it out. All the music is always coming. Follow me on Spotify. You know, follow me on Apple Music. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Yeah, the music is always coming. It's projects on the way. It's new types of music that y'all haven't heard from me on the way.
Oh man.
It's you may hear my music on some commercials and TV shows.
Yes,
coming.
sir.
You may. We may do a tour. We may be on a college tour. You never know, man. It's a lot of things that we're working on. So you're going to see a lot more of us. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
A lot more videos, a lot more content, a lot more of these podcasts, a lot more of whatever. You're going to see a lot. It's new merch here. If you want to support, put in an offer. You may get accepted. You may not. Speaking of, man, hey, bro, I got you a shirt, my boy.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude.
Anybody else brought you a shirt on this?
No one,
See?
man.
First time,
this is
bro.
the
This is
man.
what we do.
We're going to open
This
it up
what we
right here,
do.
right now.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The formula. Faith plus work equals possible, man.
Oh, that's it. Did you make this shirt?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait and create, man. That's what we do.
Man, dude, thank you. This is amazing, man.
Absolutely, bro.
I'm looking forward to supporting you any way that I can. You're always welcome here. I always appreciate you and your energy. Your
Thank
music is amazing, and I can't wait to see like where you go with all the things that you're doing. Dude, it's amazing stuff, seriously. And
I could tell you now, too, for anybody who likes my music, including you, if you haven't seen it live, you ain't seen my music. You haven't felt my music until you're there live.
when's your next performance?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm
let me
not
know.
sure.
I'll be there.
You gonna know, the world gonna know, and you said you're gonna be there, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Come do it. We can do an interview afterwards, just so you can
I
hear
love
the
that.
experience,
I
bro.
love
Like
that.
you can know, man. Like me live, the experience that you get is different. It's not. It's we creating an experience, bro. It's not just we coming here. You can not know the music. You can know the music, whatever. You're going to be a part of that. You may leave crying. You may leave happy. You may leave feeling like, bro, I can do anything I want to do. But you're going to have a good time. You're going to dance. You're going to sweat. You're going to...
Man, if
Gonna
it's
clap.
anything just like talking to you, bro, it's gonna be a good ass show.
Yeah. It's going to be great, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, go check this man out. Please listen to his music. It's amazing stuff, and you won't regret it. Watch out for him because he's about to do some crazy stuff. Like always, man, I appreciate you.
Hey,
Thank
man.
you for coming.
Number love, my boy.
Yeah. Oh, one thing. Two quick questions before you go.
Two questions.
Two
What
questions.
you got?
First question: what does it mean? What does create yourself mean to you?
Man, very similar to what you create, man. That's why I like the name of it. Like, creating yourself. Like, if you're creative, I'm a visionary. So if you don't see it for you see it, you never see it. And you have to see what you want and then sculpt it, right? Like, you have to, if you're a visionary, everybody else may not see it.
Yeah.
But they'll see it eventually.
Yeah.
But the visionaries that you keep around, you can see where it's something I did with my team where I was like, hey, bro, close your eyes. Like, can you feel, hear us, see us at the Garden, sold out, people screaming, yada, yada, yada. Like, you got to, and if you couldn't feel that, if anybody said they couldn't, they would have just not been on the team from that point forward. Because you have to be a visionary to be able to see it at that level.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, we putting in a lot of work, and this is what you got to see where we going. So that's the way that you got to feel it. Like, when you do your first workout, you're not going to be LeBron James right after that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? You're not going to be Floyd. You're not going to, like, you have to see where you want yourself to be and take yourself there. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
It's a beautiful answer, man.
Yeah.
It speaks to who you are as well. The second thing is for the next person that's on this podcast, what is the question that you have for them?
Question.
Whatever question that you want to leave with them.
Have you listened to All Names Taken?
That's going to be the next question
we
for
go.
him.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Appreciate you, man. This is a
Yeah,
good interview, man. I'm proud of you. Keep building this up.
Appreciate you, man.
Don't stop. Keep building.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I
Yeah,
always love
absolutely.
talking to you, bro.
Anytime, bro. Just let me know.
Yeah.
I got you, bro. Backstage at the Garden, backstage at AT&T when we get there. Hey, bro.
Yes, sir.
I got
You're going to see us out there, and we're going to be doing post-show interviews with the man All Names Taken.
Dang, maybe he'd be like the next generation Narwhal, bro. That'd be fire.
I'm be like, hey, I have this copy of Lion King from, when did it come out?
Dang, that's on you, my boy.
Yeah, I'm not going to be the next Narwhal. Something like it, though.
Dang.
Well, cool. Like always, be yourself,
She meant
love
that.
yourself, and create yourself. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Man, that was good talk, bro.
Live studio audience.
Yeah, for real. This is taped in front of a live studio audience. Man, dude, good talk, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you, my boy.
bro.
Yeah.
For real. I'm excited.
Look, warm as a summer breeze, ain't much cooler than this ecstasy. Freezing water, bring slight release, search for shade under pecan tree. Make a wish on the fallen.